In the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you the top 3 reasons why the information you're using to learn data analytics today is slowing down your progress and how you can overcome them. If you're new to this channel and you're keen to learn the latest tips, tricks, and tools for working more effectively with data, please hit the subscribe button for weekly videos. I'm passionate about learning and have done hundreds of courses on data analytics tools and techniques. I learned a ton of great things from some very clever people. But after all of these courses, there was not a course I felt was completely suitable to recommend to my friends and colleagues that I worked with. Here are the 3 key reasons why. The first issue I found with most courses is that they assume you have a fairly technical background, either as a mathematician, statistician, or computer scientist. If you ever experience having to look up Google every 5 minutes because the information you're using is full of new terminology, you'll know what I'm talking about. Secondly, I found a lot of courses to be quite academic. This information might be useful if you wanted to study for a degree, but not necessarily the information you would really need to know in a professional business setting. And thirdly, and probably most importantly, I was shocked to find the vast majority of information that you find on the internet and through most courses is actually massively out of date. If you imagine for a second, tools such as R have been around for over 20 years and Microsoft Excel for over 30. Since the information on the internet doesn't really disappear, older information accumulates over time and becomes the dominant source of information available. As this information grows in popularity, it takes on a viral effect that causes the old information to re-propagate itself in newer posts and articles, which ultimately overshadows the newer information that you really want to learn. Imagine what a computer was like 20 to 30 years ago versus what a computer is like now. There's a pretty radical difference. That's the kind of difference between using traditional Excel formulas versus Excel Power Query, or using base R data frames versus R tidyverse. Sometimes the differences are not that obvious, especially in example exercises. But once you start working with real-life data, the difference will be between night and day. Excel and R are also only 2 tools, and there are now hundreds, such as AWS, Python, and Hadoop, just to name a few. So how on earth do you keep up and get you and your team up to speed with the latest data analytics tools and techniques? You kind of need to read all of the latest articles released by the people who build the tools, such as Microsoft or RStudio. Read all of the documentation to get up to speed on these new tools, since courses for these new tools often haven't been invented yet. Develop simplified, practical, real-world problems that you can apply to the new tools against, and trace back to read up on any of the prerequisite knowledge that the new tool documentation assumes. If you're thinking this doesn't sound easier at all, the good news is that this is exactly what I've done for you. I wanted to make a course that was more accessible, so I don't assume you have any technical background. Unlike a complete beginner course though, I will introduce some software engineering principles and best practices that will ultimately make your life easier. But I will do this in a completely non-technical way. I've tried to come up with exercises and lectures that mimic the way you would build solutions in real-life settings, so that you're not stuck trying to figure out how to apply the theory back to actual work. Not only is new technology faster and more powerful, it can actually be much easier to learn if you're provided with the right training. See, if you're a student new to a topic, I can teach you to do something in 1 step using new tools, what would have taken 5 steps with an older method. The problem usually is that if you're new to a topic, then you probably don't even know the button to look for in the first place. So you'll have no appreciation of how much easier the process actually is. Just imagine though, if you could get through a topic with 5 times less work and 5 times less things to remember. Wouldn't that be amazing? Ultimately, if you work as a data analyst, it means you can be 5 times more productive than your competition every single day of the week. Imagine having the space to actually develop your skills and not just get caught up in the grind. you'll set yourself up on an upward trajectory that means over time you will exponentially outpace your competition. Imagine the smartest people you know, and imagine if you could shortcut your way to reaching that level by working smarter, taking advantage of amazing technology that so few people are using, and massively reducing the redundant information that you could simply skip over. Does this make sense? As you can maybe tell, this is something I am hugely passionate about. If you're the type of person who wants to use technology to do things smarter, then I want to work with you. As of this recording, I've developed 3 courses on data analytics covering the best new ways to get started with Excel or R. Take full advantage of the free sample lectures, which will already show you how you can do some fairly advanced things in minutes, not hours. I hope you're excited about everything being covered here, and I will see you in the next lecture.